what I was impressed by England's striking was that you know, they are holding their shape very well. You know, they are specifically working towards that. We've been hearing a lot of chats, a lot of learnings from baseball also being put into just this six-hitting ability and just striking of the ball. But looks like there is some kind of work which has been done in terms of getting those hip rotations in and getting that striking clear, because they're like, look at Joss Butler, you know, maybe they're all playing golf as well, that is helping them.
But there was a mention the other day on one of the telecasts with the analytics. They showed the swing of the bat, and they're saying it's more and more, it's starting to resemble the golf swing. But you would remember when Navjot Sidhu first arrived in '87, hitting all those sixes, and hit a lot of sixes. When Sidhu hit a six, the entire body participated in the act of hitting a six, right? He would hit it, and then the ball would go for six. Today, these guys are just hitting sixes like that. So maybe what Zach is saying, maybe the just hitting technique has changed, because the bats can't change that much.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, the bats have changed, but it hasn't changed for every country. I mean, every country has had the opportunity to change. It is definitely, they have brought in biomechanics expert. A lot of them, baseball has a lot of these guys.
They do range hitting practice, right? Because I got the feeling Eoin Morgan's innings today was a range hitting practice.
Yeah.
So what they just, it's like that flow.
I think if I've observed it correctly, Eoin Morgan never used to hold the bat so up high
on the bat.
So his grip is also changed in terms of using that long handle, a bit like Yusuf Pathan. You've seen, you know, someone who can strike the ball really long. You get a feeling that, you know, there is some kind of work gone in that. I keep hearing with modern day batsmen, just they're thinking sixes. You know, earlier the thought process used to be play along the ground, even the pull shots and hook shots. The effort used to be to keep the ball on the ground. So that is something which has changed. You know, you're allowing those balls to go for sixes and, you know, breaking the wrists, or instead of playing it down, the intention is to play the ball up. So that has certainly changed the whole approach to batting, and keeping the head low. They don't really look at where the ball is going. They maintain how you're striking, how you're holding your shape, and how you're breaking those hips and wrists.
And it doesn't matter.
For you to get the maximum
there's a fielder
power
there. They back themselves to clear the fielder. And so there was a time when you would say, is it a six? Oh, he's taken a single. That's good cricket. Today people are saying, why? If I hit a six, I'll hit another. And people don't mind hitting 2 sixes rather than hit a six and a single. They don't mind playing 4 dot balls if they're going to hit 2 sixes. And the parallel that's often drawn is from a sport that you follow very well, which is the three-pointer. So that revolutionized basketball, didn't it?
Absolutely. It's exactly the same. Basically, you have a 3-point, and so the moment, what is it? It's 1.5 points more than normal. It's 50% more than normal. So if I hit 2 3-point shots, that's 6 points, and that's 3 other shots. So my chances, as long as the percentages are good, if I shoot 3 points at anything more than 30-33%, I'm better off shooting even than if I'm shooting 50% in 2 points. So that's exactly the point, taking more calculated risks because you know the chances are more. And secondly, you're absolutely right. It's about making the position of the fielder irrelevant. If I feel that the fielder does not have a play in it, as long as I get enough, you know, under the ball, he doesn't have any play in it. Every shot has changed. The uppercut never happened before 2003. I mean, when Sachin hit that uppercut in 2003, it was an aberration. Today, batsmen routinely hit uppercuts because, as he said, instead of going down, they're going upwards nowadays.
Yeah, so, and as a result of all those shots, Eoin Morgan's produced the 4th fastest century in World Cup history. Kevin O'Brien's century came off 50 balls. That was in Bengaluru. Let's see. So, SCG is a decent sized boundary, but Bengaluru, he was just hitting sixes at will. 2015, Maxwell's hit one in 51 balls. AB de Villiers freak. In those days, AB de Villiers against the West Indies, his default shot was a 6. I think he hit 131 balls against the West Indies going into that World Cup. But now Eoin Morgan, the English might say there's one Englishman, one Irishman. There's actually 2 Irishmen.
2 Irishmen out there.
There's 2 Irishmen in there, 57. So he hit 17 sixes, 11 of Rashid Khan. And here we were thinking, I actually looked and said, I'm going to be putting my fingers over those lovely 2 cricket balls here. And I was 60 behind.
They were all out of the stadium. All the balls were there.
They're all outside the stadium there. You know what also hits me? We normally say if there are 60-meter boundaries, 65-meter boundaries. A lot of these were hit to between 80 and 70 in that range.
Yeah, straight-edge boundary, I think it was 80-85 meters, and all those were cleared by fair bit. So that's something which shows the striking. I think I'm amazed by the way Morgan was hitting sixes and consistency of it, and like in terms of the range as well. Like, you know, if anyone who is hitting sixes at long off, it takes a lot. You know, so to hit six through the long off, you have to really get to the pitch of the ball. You know, you have a lot has to go right. When you're heading to mid wicket and all that, you know, usually the lower order batsmen also fancy that kind of area. But you know, when you're hitting straight, it's something special.